I read dynamic symbols in music? Welcome to Learn Piano, a personal practice. I'm Cynthia of Cynthia Ali Studios, a place you can learn and find your joy in music. Today we're diving into a crucial question. How do dynamics play a role in the language of music? Dynamics in music aren't just about playing loud or soft. There are subtle shifts and contrasts that make your music expressive, emotionally engaging, and interesting to listen to. If you'd like to explore more on this topic, in our next episode, Season 3, Episode 8, how dynamics tie into emotional expression in your playing. So stay tuned for that episode next Monday. Why are dynamics in music? Well, in music, dynamics refer to the variation of loudness and softness throughout a piece. These variations are key to making your music come alive. Think of dynamics as the colors of music, like adding shades of emotions to each note. Without them, your performance might feel flat, mechanical, and lifeless, regardless of how beautiful the melody is. But how do we communicate these dynamic shifts? There's a system of symbols and words that provide a roadmap for how we shape the music. These markings guide you on how loud or how soft to play and how gradually the changes can occur in the volume over time. Let's explore how we use these symbols and terms to create music that is dynamic and full of life. Just to understand dynamics a little before we start, imagine you're watching a suspense thriller movie, which I like to do. The main character is sneaking around through the dark in this old abandoned house. You hear subtle sounds like the faint creak of the floorboard or a slowly opening door. These sounds are amplified by the music. It's tense and builds up anticipation. But what if the music never changes? Imagine it stays the same volume throughout the entire scene. Always a moderate volume like mezzo piano, mezzo forte, always the same. The footsteps sound normal, the door creaks like any other door. There's no dramatic build-up to the momentum where someone jumps out to scare the character. Without dynamics, like a crescendo building tension, or a sudden sforzando giving a jolt of intensity, the surprise would fall flat. The music would be too uniform and monotone to stir any real emotion. Now imagine the same scene with dynamic shifts. The footsteps might be accompanied by a soft, creeping piano sound that builds into a loud forte as the scare approaches. The sudden sforzando would make the jump out moment startling and intense. These shifts and dynamics allow the audience to feel the tension, making the surprise much more impactful. Sometimes when I watch these scenes, I'll turn the sound off completely during those moments because I get too scared. Without the music, it feels much different. It lacks that emotional pull and the scare, almost like the scene has been stripped of its color. It's fascinating how dynamics shape our experience of the scene and make us feel the suspense and excitement. First, I'd like to do a little bit on the technical side of dynamics. So, I'd first like to explain some of the symbols of dynamics. We'll go through a few and I'll explain them in detail. The first one is P, which is piano, and these words are all in Italian, so the universal language for music when they write in all these directions for us is Italian. You will see pieces that are written in Germany, they'll have German. We do have music directions in English, but overall mainly the language that we learn as musicians is Italian. So all of these dynamic markings are in that language. So piano means soft, and I'll give you just the volume on the keyboard. Then next we have mezzo piano. You'll see that as MP in your music. They're written in bold with an italic. That is going to be your mezzo piano, which is moderately soft. Moderately soft sounds like this. And next up we have mezzo forte, meaning moderately loud. So these can be subtle. I like to think of medium soft if I was with a friend at my house sitting at the table having a conversation. We're close by, that'll be medium soft. And then if the medium loud would be if you're in a bigger room with a bunch of people and then you're trying to talk to somebody across the room, you're going to have to raise your voice a little bit. That's going to be moderately loud. So the mezzo forte would be more like this. And then next we have forte, which is loud, and that symbol is F. Forte would be your outside voice. Now, each of these dynamics, like the piano and the forte, can have 2 P's or 2 F's, or they could be 3 P's and 3 F's. So it's just if there's 2, it's very soft. If there's 3, it's very, very soft. And same with loud. If there's 2, it's very loud. 3, very, very loud. And in Italian, you would say for piano is just 1, pianissimo is 2, pianissimo is the 3. And then forte, it's forte with 1, fortissimo with 2, and fortissimo is 3. So you have the iissimo twice. All right, so that's how that works. That'll give you the basic feel of those and what they sound like. Now, there are also symbols for gradual changes. That would be like if you had your volume on your TV and you're just turning the knob and you're going up slow, 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 and gradually is getting louder, louder, louder. Or it could go gradually soft, 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 soft. So the symbol for that is an arrow, like a greater than sign would mean get louder. So just like in math, you have that symbol, greater than, then you're going to have crescendo, getting louder. And then decrescendo is when it's big on the left side and it goes tiny on the point on the right side. So they look like arrows on their side. You can also see it written in sometimes with the word. It'll say crescendo, or it could say with an abbreviation, just the cresc, C-R-E-S-C dot, and then that also means the same thing. And then decrescendo, meaning getting softer, that one is going to be written in as decrescendo, or abbreviated D-E-C-R-E-S period. Or another word you'll see is diminuendo, same idea, and then that one can be abbreviated as D-I-M period. So knowing all those symbols, that'll get you a long ways. Now, we're going to go into a couple other things. The next part is descriptors. These add nuances to the dynamics. So you might see a word in front of piano. So I'm going to give you just 2 descriptors just to get you the idea of what I'm talking about. You might see the word più, P-I-U, and that means more. So more soft, più piano. That is the descriptor. Or you might see the word molto, and then molto means more. It could be more soft, more loud, whatever it's telling you to do. So for this example, molto forte means much louder. There could be many of these different descriptors. If you come across one in your music and you don't know, go online and look it up on an online music dictionary. Then you'll know exactly what it means. All of these dynamic markings are very important. All these nuances will help you express the piece and it'll become more alive. So don't ignore it just because you don't know what it says. Make sure you take the time to write out what they mean. I often, when I first have a piece of music, I go through and look at all the dynamics, and if there's a word I don't know, I look it up and I write it in. just to make sure that I'm following all the things that the composer wished for me to do. Now, the third thing that we're going to look at in dynamics are sudden changes. These add excitement and drama. In some pieces, sudden changes in dynamics are very essential for creating a surprise or a drama. These moments can be startling or thrilling, just like in that suspense thriller movie I was talking about. They could add intensity and excitement. And here are a few terms used to indicate such sudden changes. The first one is sforzando, and you're going to see that as a symbol of SFZ, and it'll be in bold letters in italic. This means sudden, forceful accent on a note or a chord. So let's say we're back to the thriller movie and somebody is going to jump out from behind the door, and we could make it sound like this. You'll notice the sforzando, so. So the very end with that very sudden and loud note, that is the sforzando. Also, there's another one called fortepiano. You'll see F and then P. That means play loud on the first note and then suddenly soft. So that might go like the reverse. And that could cause a different kind of emotion. These sudden changes are fun to play in music. You'll see them often, and now you know what you need to do. Another time that you might use it is in a situation like if you're at a restaurant and you're just talking and it's pretty quiet, and then somebody drops a plate on the floor and it shatters. So it'll be that feeling like. The fourth part about dynamics are the words that are used for special effects. So you'll see words like morendo, which means dying away, getting softer and slower as the piece comes to an end. And then there's perdendo, means losing strength, similar to morendo, but with a slower, more sustained fade. And then calando means diminishing or fading away, getting softer and sometimes slower. Another way that dynamics are marked are for single notes. Instead of a whole entire section, they will show you what to do for single notes. You'll see this for an accent. Well, if you see an accent mark, which is a little arrow above a note, that means only that note is louder than the surrounding notes. That would be like. That would be an accent. And then a marcato, it looks like an arrow, but it's standing on its feet. So above, like a triangle on top of the note. And this one means it's marked, giving a more emphasized or accented character to specific notes or chords. It's a little more accented than the accent. So you could see that on a whole chord. It's very similar to the accent, but it has a little subtlety in there that makes it different, just a bit more emphasized and accented. All right, so now I would like to show you how this works in a real piece. For my example today, I want to show you Prelude in C by Bach. Now, this piece is about 2 pages long. It has the same type of note all the way through. The whole thing is like this. One note at a time and broken chords. There's nothing different, just same thing. So imagine how boring that song would be if you played it just at one volume level. Just mezzo forte all the way through. I'm going to look at the last section of the piece. And I'm going to play this for you. It's going to be a few lines. I'm going to play it monotone, just no dynamics at all. It's going to sound flat, and you can see what you think about it. Okay, so that is what it would sound like for the whole entire thing. Same volume, same everything. Very uninteresting. You can lose your interest in this very quickly, and your mind would start wandering if you're playing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out, it's double P, so the pianissimo, very soft. And then I'm going to start crescendoing, because it has CRESC period, the abbreviation. And then that's going to bring me into forte. So as I'm going, I'm going to turn up that volume gradually. Just like I said on the TV, you're just going to turn that volume up. And then you're going to get to the loud. And there's one measure of loud. And then I'm going to fortissimo, the very loud. And then I'm going to start coming down. It says DIM, which is diminuendo. And I'm going to start bringing it down, down, down. And then it tells me in the next measure it's soft. So I know I'm taking it from double forte, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down to soft in just 2 measures. So that's happening very dramatically. And then I come with the PP again, the pianissimo, very soft for the last line. And then there's a crescendo, the second to last measure, and a decrescendo. For this one, they're using the symbols that look like the greater and less than sign. And then over the top of the last 2 measures, it shows the word calando, which I said earlier means diminishing or fading away, getting sometimes softer and slower. So we're coming as we go softer and softer and slower and slower. All right, so keep in mind what I just played, flat, boring, and now see if you notice anything when I play it with the dynamics, if you notice any of the subtle changes. So did you notice a difference when I played the dynamics? For me, it feels very heart-opening, so soft, and it comes to a climax like in a story where it builds up, and then there's that emotional part where it's so loud, and then it comes down and goes soft to the end. That really brings the music to life. You've just heard how using dynamics, the crescendos, the fortissimos, and all those things that we've learned today, how it can change something from being flat and boring into something very vivid and alive. In every piece you play, think about the dynamic markings and how they tell a story. How does the crescendo build tension? How does the sforzando surprise your audience and create drama? Dynamics are the language of music, making each performance unique and full of feeling. Now we're going to go more in depth in the expression of dynamics next week. Wrapping it up today, now that you've learned the basic dynamic symbols and terms, I encourage you to experiment with them in your music. Explore how changing the dynamics can alter the mood and character of a piece. Try a few forzandos. Try some accents and marcatos. Put in a morendo and sudden dynamic shifts. This will create drama in your piece, while softer moments evoke tenderness and introspection. And as always, check out our upcoming events at CynthiaAliStudios.com piano community for more details. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and follow to stay up to date with our latest episodes and events. I cannot wait to continue this musical journey with you. Until next time, keep practicing the piano and enjoying music.